Good afternoon. Today we will be discussing Spoon River Anthology by Edgar Lee Masters. Now this book is about a bunch of dead people pretty much, and their cemetery that is in Lewistown, Illinois. And the foreword pretty much talks about how all of these people, what it would be like if their tombstone pretty much said all of their secrets and just revealed everything about them. And so there's a lot of people that are connected in this cemetery, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. I have 25 people written down that I thought were interesting people and that connected a lot of people. And so the first one is Minerva Jones. She is the village poetess, and she is very pretty and very bountiful, is what everybody thinks. And so apparently she was just attacked, and because she was just so beautiful, and something happened to her and somebody found her, and this person brought her to the town doctor, which there are a couple town doctors, and the one that she was brought to is Dr. Myers. And he is a very nice doctor. He talks about his tomb, or his description talks about how he was a very nice doctor who helped everyone even if they didn't pay. And so he thought of himself as a very nice doctor, but it comes out he was not able to save Minerva after somebody brought her to him, and he couldn't save her, so she died. And after this happened, a lot of people accused him of killing her. And then after that, I found Mrs. Myers, which is the doctor's wife, and she pretty much is just talking about how she was married to the doctor, and her husband only tried to help Minerva, and he didn't do anything wrong. Then there is Willie Metcalf. All that is really said about him is that he was called Dr. Myers a lot. Like, a lot of people like to call him that because he looks so much like Dr. Myers. So that's really the only reason that they are connected. And then Jack McGuire was mentioned in Willie Metcalf's description, and he was the one that was calling him Dr. Myers, and said that Dr. Myers was pretty much Willie's father because they look so much alike. And he was, after that it says that he was a murderer, and in Jack McGuire's description is the town marshal is mentioned. So the town marshal is just a marshal, and he is the one that Jack McGuire kills. So he didn't really lead a very attractive life. He was killed. That was just the first set of people that are connected. So the next set starts with the state's attorney Phallus, and this guy was mad because his son was born with mental problems. He was born mentally, and the state's attorney is mad at the doctor because his son was born mentally, and he is blaming it on the doctor. This state's attorney, after talking about his child, talks about how he hung Barry Holden. So I go to Barry Holden, and what I see about Barry Holden is that he killed his wife. So that's probably why he was hung. And he is also the brother of Nancy Knapp. So then I go to Nancy Knapp, and so this is obviously Barry Holden's sister, and she is a little crazy because it says in her description that she set fire to the house and she danced in the yard. So apparently Barry Holden killed his wife and Nancy Knapp set fire to her house. So that family is a little crazy. On to the next set of connections. I have Georgia Sandminer. She is pretty interesting. She is a mistress, so she had a bunch of different lovers who were guys, but then she finds the right one, and she falls in love with Daniel Macomber. So Daniel Macomber was the next guy, and he met Georgine on his way home to see Mary McNeely. So there was not really much to say about him, just about he was going home to see this other girl, and then he met another girl, and he fell in love. So then after he mentions Mary McNeely, I look her up, and all she really talks about is how much she's in love with Daniel. So she loves Daniel, but Daniel did love her, but now Daniel loves Georgine, who was mistress of bunch of other guys, so who knows who else is connected with them. After finding Mary McNeely, I find her brother. Her brother's name is Paul McNeely, and he talks about how he was ill most of his life, and it talks about how he is so thankful for his nurse, and his nurse's name was Jane. And it didn't really say how they were connected or just if they were related of any sort, just that he was so thankful of her and that she was his nurse. Washington McNeely was the next McNeely part of the family, and he was the father of Paul and Mary McNeely. That's pretty much how they're all connected, is just family. On to the next set of connections. Tom Merritt was one that I thought was kind of interesting. This story is tragic, very tragic. Tom Merritt was shot by his wife's lover. So what happened was his wife was having an affair with a 19-year-old, and Tom comes in and he catches his wife having an affair, and he doesn't know whether he should chase after this guy and kill him or not. So he chases after him, and it just ends up that the kid shot him. So it really did not turn out very well for Tom. Next is Mrs. Merritt. So Tom's wife had an affair with a 19-year-old, and who killed her husband is pretty much all that it talks about. And then Elmer Carr. This is the kid that Mrs. Merritt had an affair with, and the one that killed Tom Merritt. And he spent 14 years in jail because of that. So that's how they're all connected. The next set of connections is on to Benjamin Pantier. He is an attorney, so he works very hard, and he lives with only his dog. His dog's name is Nig, and so he just lives with him. His wife kicked him out, so now he's in an old stingy office, and his life isn't going too well. His only friend is his dog. Mrs. Benjamin Pantier is obviously his wife, and she kicked him out. Reuben Pantier is the son of Benjamin and Mrs. Benjamin. He loved Emily Sparks. Talked about how much he loved her, sent her a letter, but he cheated on her. And then Emily Sparks, who was mentioned, she is the lover of Reuben. And then Dora Williams is also a lover of Reuben Pantier. So this is the one who Reuben cheated on. She cheated on Emily with Dora Williams. But this Dora Williams was a mistress, much like all of these other ladies in this town. She had many other lovers, but many died. She would get married, she would find somebody, she would get married to them, and coincidentally they would die just a couple weeks later. So then she would just move on to the next one, until one day she was poisoned and died. So we don't know what happened to her. She was just poisoned somehow and she died. And then Mrs. Williams, which is the mother of Dora Williams, she was the milliner, the hat maker. So that's how she was connected to Dora. Last couple here, Amos Sibley. This guy knew that his wife was cheating on him, but didn't want to forsake the ministry. So he didn't want to get a divorce, even though that he knew his wife was cheating on him. And he tried, it says that he tried and he worked so hard so that he could make money so that he could divorce her. And then his wife, Mrs. Sibley, cheated on her husband, but her secret is hidden under a mound no one will ever find. So, a lot of these people, all of their descriptions are just their hidden secrets. And who cheated on who killed who. This town is really very interesting, and this is what it would be like if everybody had their secrets engraved on their tombstone. And it was a very interesting book, and I liked it a lot. That's Spoon River Anthology by Edgar Lee Masters.